Here.
Councilmember Walker. Councilmember McMahon.
Good evening.
Councilmember Putnam.
Here.
Councilmember Colsey.
Present.
Councilmember Steiger.
Here.
You have the floor.
Thank you. This being a workshop, I don't see the need to excuse any absent council members. Are there additions or changes to the agenda?
I have item M, parking realignment.
Councilmember Jones, thank you for raising your hand.
Yeah, and I wish to, if we could move item D up to the front. Mr. Hill's here to discuss the Valentine Road Improvement Project. I'm sure he would like to go home as early as he can.
Okay. Other changes? Oh, Ken,
Two things, it's mainly just for discussion, but the Boeing contamination issue and how it affects our water, and then also there's a citizen's request that I want to discuss too.
so we'll add Boeing contamination as item O. And then the citizen request. Oh wait, I'm sorry. And Boeing contamination O is the citizen request. Others that I missed? All right, is there a need for an executive session tonight? Okay. We'll start with item D, the update on the Valentine Road Improvement Project. Mr. Hill.
Somewhere in front of you, I know you got handed quite a few pieces of paper. Should have a double sheet printed out with some borders around it, something to sell. On the second page, you'll see a total of a little over $1 million for the...
Actually, it might be the first page, it's a total of $1 million.
Okay. So, at the bottom, you see a total that has bold. No, 2 pages, Yes. And it is the second page.
Okay, all right. I got it. What about this?
So the reason this is being brought to you guys, I don't know if you remember, with all the changes that were happening last year, the procedures that were recorded with WashDOT required certain people to review and sign off on offers going out the door from the city. So we went through the process with WashDOT to get approval for a new procedure because of some positions that were empty. And the procedure was to bring these, and they were all appraised, to council to get approval and have whoever the council nominates take a signature when these offers go out the door to the citizen. So this is the process. We've gone through the appraisals, review appraisals, WashDOT's reviewing all my offers. They were just getting my office again today. It sounds like they still need another day or so to finish up reviewing things. And hopefully soon we'll be getting these numbers out the door to the citizens along with 36 as part of the right of way. And we'll see how that shakes out. We've made all our offers in Sumner, and quite a few have accepted, and a few were fighting it.
This is the appraisal amount.
That is the review appraisal amount. That is what we have to, at a minimum, offer to the property.
And is there something you're seeking council action on, I think, next week? Or do you feel like soon?
I don't think it'll be that soon.
Okay.
Just approval of, this is what it is, unless you would offer more, because we're not allowed to offer less. Basically, yes, we kind of agree to this number. I can't fight it because it's done by professionals. But we're following the process that we've outlined to WashDOT and bring it to you guys for approval, and we'll assign whoever's going to be the right person off the council to sign these offers before they go out the door. That way, I at least have this off my list for the next step.
Okay.
I mean, this is the bare bottom number. That some are said some people can test, and some offers have gone up a little bit depending on what county assessed values look like, and if they have another appraiser look at it. And we're still waiting to see if a couple of them go to condemnation, which is its own process and cost there. So this is bare bones, hoping we don't have too many condemnation, because that'll drag things out.
feedback on, I assume this is something council members can get you feedback on if they review it further. Yes, okay. I can provide you with all the backup. Councilmember Jones, you're probably the best contact person for that.
Our council members, I think we're both involved in this.
I don't know. Okay. Good. Anything else?
I think probably, the way it reads, it would be Ken's job to sign off on these. Now, I don't know, Ken, I met with him last week, he's willing to sign off on these. The council wishes him to. But how much conflict he's gonna get from the mayor, well, that's an unknown subject, because the mayor is very opposed to this Valentine, the way, since we took it away from him. So, I would say that we should probably, at next meeting, assign Ken to sign it and figure an alternate. So, in the event the mayor creates a hardship for Ken, rather than putting his job on the line, I think John or myself could sign it, or the council president, or, but anyway, for the council to decide who would be our backup. That way, we're not holding this thing up. This man can fly on through them, and he's only got one person, you don't have to be here every week to figure out what we're doing.
We do have washout, so we won't be flying.
No, I'm just,
I would suggest,
Councilmember Jones?
Oh, go ahead.
I would suggest rather than have, put Ken in the line of fire, that we just go and have one of the council members sign it.
It's been a while since I've read the language, interlocal agreement language, but it might behoove us to go back through and read that again, because one, anything under $25,000,
You'll require a signature.
correct.
And we're going back to the WashDOT approval, not our interlocal. I mean, if things happen differently than they did, I'd be talking to my attorney on who's going to be signing, but since, things are good and there's people here to sign, we're following the WashDOT procedure, which was bringing it to council and either having the public works director or whoever is council signs from the company. Other ways don't work best, I just want to, obviously bring it in here to make everybody's aware of what number we're still kind of right now. And, yeah. Okay.
So would it be council's pleasure to add to next week's meeting agenda to give approval to?
that would be my suggestion to move it forward.
I would suggest we do a resolution, that way we got a paper trail.
Is that something we might be willing to look at? Okay.
Good, yeah.
Thank you. So move forward?
A quick question over here. So, there could be some administrative settlements, or, if somebody argues it and we start looking at assessed values. Would we like, for me to get like a group of those, if people are arguing and we're deciding on different numbers, bringing that back to council this way, to get signatures?
Why don't you just bring it, my suggestion is just bring it to John and myself, and we can bring it to council, rather than, or bring it to the Public Works Committee, either way, and we bring it to council. That makes sense.
Any objections to that? Good. Does that answer your question?
You'll have to show where it does.
I don't want to be, making some deals, I want to keep everybody involved.
Great. Cool. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Now we move on to agenda item A, amending PNC chapter 2.28 for the police department. The mayor is listed for that, him not being here. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in his stead?
I'd like to discuss, if the council doesn't mind, a little variation, because A and C were both issues that he brought up. And there was a discussion that the last meeting he was here completely. The discussion was about who had the authority for the job description, be it the civil service or ordinance, city code. Just want to bring up to base with the council that, as I stated that evening, the city council in 2007, by ordinance, made the chief of police and public safety director civil service covered position. In doing so, the civil service thus takes responsibility for the job descriptions of those two positions. And in 2009, the civil service became aware of that, and at that point, generated the job descriptions that are in place. And per state and our codes, it is the civil service's responsibility for, once given the direction by the city that they want a position filled, be it a police officer or a chief of police or a public safety director, that they are responsible for going out and soliciting the applications, the review, the background, and the orals and everything else that goes along with it. And they establish a hiring list that is provided for the city, and they give them the top person on that list. And then it's up to the hiring agency, i.e. the city, to take that from that position forward. The city does not, the Civil Service Commission is the city, but I'm going to separate the two in this conversation. The city, i.e. the mayor, does not direct the city clerk to solicit applications for chief of police. That is, goes to the Civil Service Commission. Right now, though, these two requests, to reestablish the police chief position in the code and to change 2.64 are both issues to, one, in the mindset of what I'm reading is to reestablish something that's not technically gone away. The civil service has the authority. Or if the city chooses to hire a police chief, they could do so under other circumstances than what we have in place right now. Because that would be a future hiring position. If there's an attempt to try to do that right now, Mr. Calkins holds the position of public safety director, and i.e. grandfathered into that position until time that he were to leave employment legally or through his own decision. That can't change. And there's no point in revising the Civil Service Commission codes to take the police chief and the public safety director out of the civil service. It won't affect John's position, and at this time, I see no reason to do so. More so considering the mayor's recent activities, legal activities related to the civil service and what we have had to do to intervene. So, but that's my information that I have.
For a second.
The main reason that this went civil service to begin with was to try to circumvent every time that there was a change in Merrill to disrupt our public safety. I mean, we might disrupt our utility or something else, but our public safety. We figured that this would be the best way to stop gaps at. And obviously, it didn't work 100%. We have a problem. But that was the reasoning behind it, is it's just true. With a change in Merrill, you can't bring any good old buddy in.
So if the council were to change the position, even remove it from civil service, we could set that infrastructure up, amend the PMC, inform the Civil Service Commission, and it would really only, in practical terms, take effect once Mr. Calkins was no longer
Correct.
Public Safety Director.
It is the discretion of the council to decide if it chooses to have either one of the positions covered. But there is some limitation in relationship to the state code, you know. Where am I at here on this one?
There's a threshold for the
Yes, there's
commissioned
a
officers, right?
limitation on what we can or can't do based upon the quantity size of the police force. So, again, limited based upon RCW code. The council has the authority for future positions to remove them if choose to from the civil service.
So with that information, council, did you have more to, go ahead.
Well, in light of, the ruling that we just got from Judge White, fire, just disregard this, take it off the table completely. No reason to further discuss it at this point.
That answers part of my question. Is there a desire by council members to continue this issue either to a future meeting or future workshop? Move it backwards.
I think the longer we discuss it, the more we claims of retaliation by John Coffin.
Okay.
It's pretty clear he's in the position now.
So that's item A. Councilmember Jones, you talked a bit about item number C, are they essentially one and the same?
Correct.
Okay, does council have the same feelings about item C on the agenda as well? Councilmember Platinum, you go. Okay. We've done D, A, and C, now let's go to B. We'll all be confused by our alphabet. Confirmation of Civil Service Commission appointment. Here's another one by the mayor. Councilmember Halsey gets teary-eyed, you're gonna have to bring that back.
Oh, do you want to?
I'm kidding. The mayor is not here to discuss his, I think, resubmission of, his appointee to the Civil Service Commission. He did send me an email over the weekend, to tell me that his appointee is Mr. Erickson. So, go ahead.
I was gonna say personally, as of last discussion we had with him, last workshop, council's position hasn't changed. There's no point in any communications on this item anymore, not related to that, citizen.
Other comments? Any desire to move this forward? Hearing none, we will move on. Item number E, discussion utilities billing clerk assisting the mayor during regular council meetings. Councilmember Steiger, was this your issue?
Yes, it was. Okay, I was kind of surprised when I was off sick and came back in and see Angelica sitting here. But to begin with, the mayor cannot hire somebody to assist him. This is our council meeting. We are the people making the decision if we're gonna hire an interpreter or something else to assist the mayor. Number two is, we've already been over backwards and offered him different types of hearing devices. He chose not to even try them. Number two is, we said that you could assist him. And apparently, he chose not to have that done anymore. I don't see where we pay somebody at $30 an hour plus to sit there and yell in his ear, where we got a whole audience full here, we'd be more than happy to do it for nothing. In turn, there is no reason in the world for him to even have it, because his problem really is not 100% the hearing. His 80% of the problem is he don't know how to run a meeting. So, I don't understand this man that claims he's this intelligent and everything else, can sit here for a year and still don't know how to run a meeting. What do I do next? So, I would say that if he brings somebody back in again, we just ask him to leave.
Other comments?
Um,
Over to Jones?
Yep, thank you. The only thing I was gonna say is, under the ADA, and we discussed this at length multiple times in previous council meetings, that the mayor is basically the authority to deal with the ADA issues of the employees. If he needed assistance as it relates to the ADA of his hearing issues, then he needs to follow what I would construe as recommendations on how to deal with that, be it a teleprompter, hearing devices assistance. I do not believe in the case that he is adept at sign language, but if that was needed, something in that realm of things, but I don't know if hiring an employee to communicate at a larger volume is probably associated with an ADA issue. But
Councilmember Putnam?
Two thoughts. One, a personal translator is standard ADA accommodation for hearing loss. It's not the most cost-effective usually, but it is something that is recognized as one potential solution. So he does have some grounds for that. The other is, I think council needs to remember the scope of its own authority. As long as he stays within budget on her hours, and doesn't have her working outside of her budgeted hours, he is the chief administrator of the city. He can run it as badly as he wants.
Councilmember Holmes is the only one who hasn't had a chance to chat. Okay, Councilmember Jones?
I don't wanna, I would like, Mr. Putnam, a little, I'd like to see that information. I'm not gonna dispute his statement, I just like to see it. And what in fact encompasses an interpreter, personal interpreter. The other issue is job description. And is her job description encompass that responsibility of a personal interpreter under the ADA rules? And are we paying her for that? Or is she getting overtime in relation to her job description, to her job? Again, a lot of that is outside of our realm, other than when it comes to budgetary and payment. I want to make sure if she's doing a job that she's authorized to do so, she has the capacity and under the legal ramifications that we have to be in compliance with. So,
And the utilities billing clerk is a represented position, right? Am I right on that? It is?
Yes.
So there might be, I trust that we would hear from the
maybe
bargaining.
something we would need to talk to the union about.
Yeah. Councilmember Holsey, and then.
A lot of the ADA requirements are applicable with 50 or more employees. The employers with less than 50 are not as severely required, or not as required to comply with the ADA regulations because of budget constraints. We might want to check into that a little bit further.
Councilmember Stacker.
The question was asked of her by Leanne Dyer, are you getting overtime? And she said, yes, or I wouldn't be here. So, it's not within the scope of her budget job description. Okay.
Further discussion? Council's pleasure.
I'd say, maybe talk to Leanne about her connecting with the union in relationship to her job description. Might be the thing that we need to do.